I used to work 3 jobs. Here is the move that changed everything. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, why I did it, what it really paid, what it cost me, and how one decision turned all of that chaos into stability, education, a 6-figure tech career, and a check that still hits my bank account on the 1st of every month, whether I work or not. By the end of this video, you will know how to do the math on your own situation with brutal honesty, how to stop chasing quick cash that leaks out through gas and bills, how to set yourself up to get paid while you are still in training, how to use education benefits without burning your GI Bill too early, and how to turn one contract in the military into a lifetime bag if you play it right. On this channel, I show you how 3 years can buy you a lifetime bag. So subscribe. I remember the feeling down to the smell of the car. I would clock out of a shift at the retirement home, walk 5 minutes back to my small apartment, change my shirt, and climb into a beat-up Mazda I bought for $1,500. The steering wheel was shiny from too many hands. The air conditioning worked when it felt like it, and the check engine light was a permanent roommate. I will open the rideshare app and start hunting. Airport runs, downtown run, late night bar run. If it was a Friday, I would sometimes take the whole day off my job and drive almost 24 hours and even more sometimes straight to try to hit a number. $500 look amazing on a screenshot until you subtract what it took to get it. That is the part nobody tells you when they say you can make $2,000 this weekend if you grind. I also did restaurant work. I did pizzeria work. I did whatever put cash in my hand because bills did not care that I was tired. That was life. 3 hustles stacked together like a Jenga tower. And if one shift fell out, the whole thing shook. Then an opportunity showed up that looked like a lifeline and turned out to be a lesson. I was trying to upgrade my CCNA to a CCNP because that's a Cisco certification, because I did not want my certification to expire. I started calling training centers I found online. One place said they did not offer CCNP, but the CEO called me back anyway. When I say CEO, do not picture a glass building. Picture 2 rooms in an office building with 3 or 4 people total. He said, "We do not have CCNP, but you have your CCNA. Come work here, get experience, and you can pass CCNP without a bootcamp." I thought it was my shot. He asked me what I was making at the retirement home. Wrong. Then he offered me exactly that with a smile like he was saving me. I don't know why I told him the exact amount, but anyway, I wanted to be in IT, so I took it. This was the first time I was offering an IT job as an immigrant in USA. Here is where the math slapped you in the face. The retirement home was 5 minutes from my place. I worked, 0 gas, 0 parking. That downtown IT job that I got required a commute, so I bought the Mazda. The car cost me $1,500, but the real price was the parade that follows a cheap car. Oil leaks, sensors, a set of tires, a mystery clunk that took 3 visits to the shop. The first time a mechanic said $900 to fix a car worth $1,500, I should have worked. I did not. I paid it because I needed to keep the job. A few months later, I did what too many of us do when we are stressed and feeling behind. I made the new car will fix my life mistake. I signed for a 2017 Honda Accord in late 2016. The payment was shiny. The interest was hidden pain. I am a different man now, and for faith reasons, I do not take loan at all. But back then, I thought that the reliable car would lower my stress. It did not. It raised my expenses. So now I am an IT job, if you follow me correctly, making basically what I made at the retirement home, except now I have a car payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, and downtown parking in the equation. I was finally in IT, but somehow the math got worse. I did bring this up. After 5 or 6 months doing real work, going on client sites, solving actual problems, carrying the load as basically the tech after the owner, I told him, this pay does not cut it. He gave me $2 raise, from $12 to $14 now. $12 to $14 in IT, downtown with a commute. If you feel your stomach drop, hearing that, mine did living it. So I did what so many of us do when our day job does not cover life. I added more hustle. I finished my shift at 5 p.m., turned on the rideshare app like Lyft and Uber, and drove until 10 or 11 p.m. In the mornings, I will sometimes start the app 2 hours early to pick up commuters on my way to work. I told myself it was smart. I told myself I was maximizing my day. In reality, I was renting out my energy to whoever needed a ride, and I had nothing left for building something that would outlast the week. The worst part is that fast cash lies. The app shows you the top line. You see 300 tonight, 500 on a long Friday, 3,000 in a month. It feels like progress. Then one day you sit down with a pen and paper and do the part nobody ever posts on Instagram. Gas, oil changes every month because you are putting miles on the car like it is a long-haul truck. Tires sooner than you expected, brakes, a battery, cabin filter, air filters, a headlight, the parking ticket you got because you tried to sneak a bathroom stop between rides, the accident that was not your fault but still hit your insurance, the insurance hike the next renewal because you live on the road, the app fees, the taxes, the wear on you. When I finally did honest math, I realized some weeks I was paying myself $9 an hour to be exhausted. $9. If I was not at my day job, I was in the car. If I was not in the car, I was asleep or staring at the ceiling trying to remember who I had promised to send money to. I would tell myself, Saturday will be busy and give away another weekend to strangers in the back seat. I did not have a life. I had a method. I hope you never have to hit that wall to learn what I learned. The hustle is not a career. It is a treadmill. If you need it for a short sprint to survive, use it, but know exactly what it is. It is not a future. One night, I finished a shift, packed, and just sat in the quiet. I knew I was working hard and staying poor. I knew I was collecting stories about drunk riders and GPS detours when I should have been collecting skills and benefits. I knew this was not why I came in America. That is when I made the move that changed everything. I joined the United States military for one contract. I did not join because I thought basic training would be easy. I did not join because I thought the pay on day one will make me rich. I joined because I ran the numbers and realized one contract gives you stability now and benefits that stack for the rest of your life if you are disciplined. I also joined because I wanted out of the survival mode. I wanted structure. I wanted a ladder instead of a hamster wheel. Here is what that decision did for me, and here is what it can do for you too, if you treat it like a launchpad. First, stability. Before service, my deposits were random. After service, pay hit on the 1st and the 15th like a heartbeat. Housing and food were covered. Healthcare was covered. That alone is a different life than juggling rent, insurance, and co-pays while your car hits your weekend. If you have never had stability, you do not realize how much of your brain it frees up. You start thinking months ahead instead of hours. You can plan, you can breathe, you can save. Second, the training timeline is paid time that you can use to set your family up if you plan. You have two big training, basic training, then AIT, where they teach you your job. Basic is about 9 to 12 weeks depending on branch and time. AIT can be as short as a couple months or as long as a year depending on your MOS, military occupation specialty. If you have a legitimate dependent like a spouse or a child, you receive basic allowance for housing while you are in training. That is money for your family housing because they are not allowed to live with you during training. Here is the part nobody explained to me early enough. That BAH amount depends on the location and rank and can easily be in the range of $2,500 to $4,000 a month. It is not a reimbursement. They do not ask for receipts. It is for your family to live while you are in training. If your spouse lives with family for a season or is in a lower cost city or is temporarily overseas, the cost of living may be far below that BAH number. Do the math. If your combined training is 10 months and you are able to save even $2,000 a month from that BAH, you have $20,000 saved before you ever hit your first duty station. That does not require anything shady. It requires a real marriage, real dependence, and a real plan. If you are already planning to marry the person you love, you do not need to wait 2 extra years to make it official. A courthouse wedding is inexpensive. Your real ceremony can be later, and your life can start now. If you are not in a real relationship and you try to fake one, you will create problems you don't want. The point is not to game the system. The point is to understand it and plan it like an adult. Third, Education. This is where a lot of people burn a $10,000 bill to light a $5 candle. I will tell you exactly what I did and what I wish I had done even earlier. While you are in uniform, use tuition assistance. It is there to pay for college classes while you serve. When I was in, it covered thousands per year. Those classes stacked toward a degree. I was working until around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, then I took classes online. I chipped away at my bachelor until I had it. I did not use my GI Bill while I was in because you cannot double dip housing. If you are already receiving BAH as a service member, living off base or living on base with your dependent, you do not want to burn your GI Bill months just to get another BAH. Save the GI Bill for when you get out of the military. That way, after you ETS, the GI Bill pays your tuition directly to the school and also pays you a monthly housing allowance based on your school zip code. When I got out, I used my GI Bill to take 2 master's degrees, one in cybersecurity and one MBA. The GI Bill paid the schools directly and it paid me a housing allowance every month while I was studying. I still have months until now left over. If you are rated at 100% disability later, your dependents can also get education benefits. That means a spouse can complete a bachelor degree without you draining savings. That is generational wealth. Fourth, disability compensation. I will say the number round for easier delivery. I receive about $4,500 every month. That's free for life until today, until the day I died. That number did not fall out of the sky on day one. I started at 60% after service. I kept documenting. I filed for an increase and went to 70, then 80, then 90. I sat at 90 for a bit while I learned. I read. I gathered evidence. I learned what to say and what not to say at CNP exam. I learned how to connect conditions to service correctly. I learned what the criteria actually say in the regulation, and I kept going until I reached 100% permanent in total. The lesson is simple. File before you ETS so nothing falls through the cracks. Document everything. Keep your appointments. If you are not at the rating you should be at, keep going with a plan, not with random clicks. That $4,500 every month does not stop if a company downsizes. It does not pause if you are between jobs. It does not care about recessions. It is compensation for what service took. I treat it with respect. I invest it. I live on my salary. That brings me to the fifth change. Career. The military did not just end me a job. It ended me structure. It ended me discipline. It ended me a resume that gets read. Security clearance eligibility came with service and citizenship. That clearance alone is why I stayed employed through tech layoffs. Clearance is oxygen in certain sectors. Employers see veteran and clearance and your resume slides to the top of the pile. I stacked that with my degrees and my certification and I climbed. Today, I am a software engineer at Microsoft with total compensation around $300,000. The disability check still hits. The education benefit still echoes. The discipline still pays off every day. I have an 806 credit score and no debt at all because of personal convictions. I do not use the VA loan because of my faith, but many do, and it can be powerful if you are comfortable with it. I am telling you this so you understand the principle. One contract used wisely keeps paying. You may be thinking, that is great for you, but my situation is different. I respect that. So let us run the math the way I wish someone had forced me to do when I was pretending Uber was making me rich. Take 1 month, only 1 month, not the best weekend you ever had. 1 month only. Add your gross rideshare payouts. Subtract gas. Subtract insurance at the rate you actually pay after a claim. Subtract an honest maintenance reserve. Be ruthless. If you put 2,000 miles on your car in a month, you cannot pretend oil and tires are free. Subtract parking, tolls, and tickets. Subtract app fees and taxes. Divide by your actual hours in the car, not just time with a passenger. Be honest about how much time you spend idling, waiting in airport queues, and positioning yourself and while you're also eating. What is your true hourly rate? Now, add your restaurant or warehouse or pizzeria income if you have that too, and be honest about the toll on your body and your time. Now compare all of that to one military paycheck with BAH and BAS and healthcare. Do not inflate either side. Just be honest with yourself. You will notice 2 things. The civilian hustle stack vanishes the moment you stop moving, right? The military check arrives even when your car is in the shop. The second thing you will notice is the hidden bill on the civilian side. Health insurance, deductibles, dental, vision, prescription, random emergencies. In the military, that is covered. In the civilian side, that will eat your savings like termites if you pretend it is not there. When I first did this math, I was embarrassed because I realized I had been lying to myself. I was working more hours and building fewer assets. I was staying exhausted and getting nowhere. I could either keep telling myself stories about tonight will be a big night, or I could make a move that would buy me stability, education, a path to citizenship, a shot at clearance, and a lifetime check if I did my part. And I chose the move. If you are on the fence, here is how I will set it up so you do not repeat my mistakes. If you are already in a real relationship and you know you are going to marry, do it before you ship. You ship to basic training. A simple courthouse marriage is not about a party. It is about protecting your spouse and unlocking BAH during basic training. If you have a child, gather the documents that prove the relationship and support. If you support a parent and want to claim them as a dependent, understand that you need to document that you cover at least half the expenses and it is more involved. Keep it legal and real, no games. The point is to protect your family and save early, not to commit fraud. Next, decide active duty or reserve based on reality, not pride. If you have nothing stable happening in the civilian world, go active duty for one contract and build your foundation at full speed. If you already have a strong civilian path and just want the military benefits and training weight, go reserve or National Guard and stack both. There is no badge for taking the harder road just to impress strangers. Choose your MOS with your future in mind. If you can qualify for security clearance, for instance, once you are a citizen, go for a job that uses it so you are hireable later. If you are not a citizen yet, know that you can get your citizenship quickly after you start service. Then you can push for clearance eligibility as soon as you qualify. Clearances, IT, Intel, cyber, logistics, aviation maintenance, medical, and communication skill set translate outside. Some contracts require longer AIT. Longer training means more months of BAH for your family if you have dependents. Do not choose a job only because the training is long. Choose the job because the skill makes you employable and the clearance makes you hard to replace. Use tuition assistance while you are in to knock out classes toward a degree. Do not waste your GI Bill while you are already receiving BAH as a service member. When you separate, use the GI Bill for your next degree and let the GI Bill cover your rent based on your school location, not your apartment. Live below that number. Rent a room somewhere if you have to, especially if you are single. Let the difference become savings or investment. File your VA claim before you ETS. Document everything. Show up for appointments. If your first rating is not where it should be, do not give up at all. Learn. Gather evidence. Ask for help from people who have done it. I started at 60, went to 70, remember? Then 80, then 90, and I kept learning until I reached 100. That monthly deposit is not a handout. It is compensation for the cost of service on me. Treat it with respect. One more thing I wish I had known on day one. The first company that hires you after service may not be your forever job. That is fine. That was not for me. The point is to be paid to learn while you stack credentials and experience. For me, the military gave me the discipline and the path to earn certifications and degree. The clearance helped me in federal contracting roles. I stacked roles until I was competitive at the very top. That is how I reached Microsoft. It did not happen because I'm special. It happened because I stopped bleeding weekends into a steering wheel and started building a foundation that keeps paying me now. You may be wondering about small perks and whether they even matter. They add up. If you reach 100% disability, some states waive car registration. That is money that stays in your pocket every year. Airlines often allow more checked baggage for service members. The USO exists in airport for you to rest, eat, charge, and breathe on layovers. Many companies offer veteran discounts. Ask. The worst they can say is no. Some even have entire portals for veterans that you will not see unless you search. These are not life changers by themselves, but They are part of the truth. Nobody tells you when you are on your third double shift and still cannot pay rent. So when you travel, for instance, some airline will give you, instead of like 223 kilogram of luggage, they will give you 232 kilogram, or they will give you 23 kilogram to travel with it. Keep that in mind. 23 kilogram is 50 pounds. So they will give you four luggage of 50 pounds to travel with as a service member. Here is what does change your life. Stop trying to save your way out of a broken system with 3 low-paying jobs and no benefits. Start using a system designed to turn your time into stability, education, and long-term cash flow. That is what the US military is when you treat it like a launchpad instead of a lifestyle. You may have strong feelings about the military in the world or the US military. I respect that. Every institution has problems. Every path has risk. I am not here to convince you with slogans or movie. I'm here to show you numbers and a path. One contract gave me citizenship, structure, education, a network, a clearance path, and a check that still shows up even if a company goes through layoffs. That same one contract, let me stack degrees without debt. Use discipline to climb and invest early and often until today. Today, the difference between me at the wheel at 2 a.m. praying for one more airport ride and me now is one decision. I chose a path that pays me even when I'm sleeping. I chose a path that bears me back my time instead of renting it out by the hour. If you are where I was, exhausted and stuck, I want you to do 2 things tonight. First, do the math, please. Real math. Put your last month on paper, everything. If the truth hurts, let it. That is what truth is for. Second, run a military scenario on paper exactly the same way. 1 paycheck, BAH, BAS, healthcare, tuition assistance while you are in, GI Bill, BAH after you get out. A conservative disability rating that you will fight to get right if your first number is off. Then compare both. Do not compare vibes, compare numbers. If your heart is telling you this makes sense, your mind will try to fight it with fear. That is normal. Do it afraid. I did it. If you want me to walk you through the plays that make the difference, I built a community for that. It is where I can talk through the exact recruiter questions, the paperwork you need if you are getting married, the MOS decisions that make you employable later, the timing of tuition assistance versus GI Bill, and the way to file so you are not appealing blindly. If you want to learn plays like this before you even join, the link to my school community is in the description below. That is where we break it all down step by step. I will close the loop on the other story I was telling you about. I left that downtown IT job. I drove rideshare full-time for a couple months. I saw the truth on paper and I could not unsee it. I joined the US military. I did 1 contract. I used tuition assistance while I was saving. I finished my bachelor degree when I got out, before I got out. I used my GI Bill after I got out and finished 2 master degrees. I filed, then filed again, then filed correctly, and I climbed from 60% to 100% permanent and total. I moved into roles that matched my skills and clearance. Today, I write code at Microsoft. I'm a software engineer. The disability check hits around 4,500 every month, no matter if I'm working for Microsoft or not. I invest all that money. I invest the difference between my salary and my expenses. So first, I invest the $4,544 I receive from the VA into my investment, stock, crypto, everything. And then the money that I'm receiving from Microsoft as salary is even more than my expenses. So I use that difference, I save it, and also I invest it. I am not on a treadmill anymore. I am on track with a finish line as shows. If you are where I was, I'm not judging you. I'm telling you the truth I wish someone had told me. The 3-job hustle feels like motion. It is not progress. The move that changed everything was trading random hustle for a smart 1 contract and a plan. You can do the same. Watch this video that YouTube think will be helpful. Drop a comment if you have any questions and I will answer them. If this video helped you, subscribe for more plays that turn service into freedom. Thank you for watching till the end. Peace. I'm gone.